I don't know. Like, do I really feel that where we're at right now will grow another 10% or 7% or 30%? All right, so interest rates down, but the prices seem to be very high. So people have questions. They want to know why, and we will get into that. Also, we will get into another effect that this might be associated with the phenomena that we're dealing with, and that is different driven factors based on the history, like the Industrial Revolution, like the Information Revolution, and the new era that's coming. However, what is currently creating that issue where the interest rates are coming down and the prices are definitely being still high? All right, so as mentioned, like a lot of people are complaining, to be honest with you, right? And there's a reason for it. Nobody cannot afford anything. Nobody can really get approved for anything nowadays. So what has happened, right? So we're currently in a sticky situation, and the prices are not moving because their sellers are sticking and they still believe that the prices should be at 2022 so they can get out, right? Everybody wants to get out, right? It seems like it, right? So I mean, like, even with these interest rates, I mean, like, whatever has been happening, and yes, it helps in some sectors, but it doesn't help, right? So you have to understand that it's like selling a Ferrari but giving a $500 discount. Like, that's not going to help you at all, because we're still dealing with stress tests when applying for a mortgage. We still need a huge amounts of down payment in order to move forward. And having these prices, right, in some of these communities and overall in any given category, whether it's a house, whether a condominium, whether any style, it seems to be very, very, very expensive, right? So jumping through the loops brings me to another sector, which is the mindset, right? And I mentioned the industrial period, right? So let's just go back for a second, right? Like, in the industrial period, right? Like, you have to imagine that people would work, they would work hard, they would work for long hours. It doesn't matter what the boss or who the boss is and how they're treating them, as long as they can get paid and they can put some food in their mouth, they're happy. So it seemed like that was the psychology. But our grandfathers and grandparents went through that, right? So we have evolved, right? So we went to the informational stage, where information obviously was valuable and people were laughing at the industrial periods, and they're like, look, like, we're going into the informational period, which consisted, people thriving in a corporation, right? Like, getting paid for what they know. Let me go to university. Let me get more education. Let me go get my master's degree. Let me go get all this stuff so I can climb the corporate ladder and I can, get to where I need to get a higher buffer, and obviously sink it into real estate, right? So that cycle seems like, in my opinion, it's coming to an end, right? So now we seem to be heading into a social era cycle. So what does that mean, right? So I think now the 9-to-5 job seems to be kind of diminishing, right? And people don't want to live in everywhere anymore. Like, people want to live in these communities. They want to be close to, I guess, everything. They don't want to be tied up to a job. They don't want to feel that they're stuck in a job. They don't want to have that long haul of pressure when it comes to real estate or mortgages or debt or whatever. So I think being in that transitioning phase between that informational corporate ladder, now we're getting into this social setup, and I think a lot of things are breaking, and I believe that the chain also broke between the industrial into corporate, right? So I think people are obviously confused, and they're in a checkmate. Like, that's what it seems like. Everybody is in a checkmate. The marketing is pushing, the agenda of, buy it now it's low, now it's the time. But it seems like that people are losing the motivation, right? And the people that do have the funds, there are people that have funds, whether we want to believe it or not, but there are people, right? Even they're saying, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that's the right thing for me to do right now. I don't know. Like, do I really feel that where we're at right now will grow another 10% or 7% or 30% in the next decade or 2 decades, right? So those are the questions that people are asking now, right? Like, where's the value? So now, why do I believe everything is tied up, right? Because, having that transition, right? Like from industrial to corporate, right? These industrial people did not know any better. They knew how to work hard and how to get paid and get out, right? So then we got smart, and then we got stuck in the corporate loop, and now we went out, right? So who knows what the outcome is, but it seems like that every time that we have these shifts, like, we're changing that particular trajectory, right, of what we really want, because we get stuck in, few decades doing the best that we possibly know. Then we hit the wall, and we hit the wall fast, and then we have to pivot. Like, we just have to, right? Because even now, like, people are definitely going crazy, and it just shows that this informational era, people that accumulated huge amounts of debt, whether it's student loans, whether it's visa loans. I mean, we're breaking every single record we know so far, every single one. And on the contrary, nothing really changed. The banks still demand the stress test, and they still want X, Y, and Z in order to obviously be safe, right? Because a bank is an institution, and they are investing in your property until you one day maybe pay it off or whatever happens, right? But they have the skin in the game, and they have to somehow project whether you will be the person, right, that will make it happen in the next 2-3 decades, right? So I don't know, it seems like that a lot of things are shifting, and things are definitely changing, and what you saw on this thumbnail, people walking, and it seems like one foot is on a banana peel and the other foot is in the bankruptcy. So either way, I don't know, it's gonna be a split. So let's see what's gonna happen. I hope you got some value out of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.